An 18-year-old leaves for a 4th of July trip to Horn Island with friends. By the end of the day, everyone returns, except him. Days later, search crews recover his body near Horn Island. What happened during those missing hours remains unanswered. Since then, questions surrounding witness accounts, forensic findings, and a widely debated dispatch recording have drawn widespread public interest. Alongside the central inquiry into how the teenager died, public attention has also focused on online commentary and reported digital communications. According to public reporting, online threats directed at individuals connected to the case have also drawn attention. Digital communications often leave records, such as IP addresses, account activity, and device location data, that investigators may examine through lawful investigative processes when relevant to an inquiry. Yet, as authorities navigate these peripheral developments, the primary focus of the inquiry remains centered on the physical events of July 4th. What has been established regarding the timeline near the western tip of Horn Island? How are independent forensic experts reviewing the available medical evidence? And how are public recordings being evaluated as part of the broader inquiry? Today, we examine the publicly documented evidence, the independent medical reviews, and the legal context surrounding this active case. Much of the recent discussion among public commentators centers on a Marine dispatch recording originating from the day of the incident. When the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources initially released the multi-channel audio file, ambient background noise, marine engine sound, and channel overlap made background sound difficult to discern. After the recording became public, independent analysts and online content creators processed copies using commercially available audio software in an effort to isolate background sounds. Many emergency dispatch systems can record the dispatcher and incoming caller on separate audio channels, allowing each channel to be reviewed independently when available. By isolating specific channels, independent processors attempted to filter out lower frequency background noise and boost audio gain across human vocal frequencies. Some independent listeners and commentators have interpreted enhanced versions of the recording as containing references to names or requests to check someone's condition. Those interpretations remain disputed and are not part of any official transcript released by law enforcement. Legal representatives for individuals present on the water have strongly contested these online interpretations, describing enhanced social media clips as unreliable and misleading. From a forensic perspective, audio files processed outside of an official law enforcement chain of custody face significant evidentiary hurdles. If digital audio is ever presented in a formal legal proceeding, accredited acoustic experts must establish a clear chain of custody and demonstrate precisely how filtering, equalization, or noise reduction was applied. Until official agencies publish a verified transcript, enhanced online audio clips represent disputed commentary rather than established court evidence. While the audio continues to generate debate, investigators are also examining physical evidence documented during two separate medical examinations. An initial autopsy was conducted by state medical examiners shortly after Nolan Wells' body was recovered. According to public reporting, the complete autopsy file and certain investigative materials have not been publicly released while the investigation remains active. In some active investigations, authorities may limit the public release of certain records while investigative steps remain ongoing. Seeking additional clarity, the Wells family retained independent legal representation and private forensic specialists to conduct a secondary examination. That independent review was performed in Washington, D.C. by forensic pathologist Dr. Roger Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell's publicly released preliminary report documented a focal area of deep tissue discoloration across the back of the skull, measuring approximately 12 by 8 inches, without accompanying skull fractures or surface skin tears. Evaluating soft tissue changes in recovered bodies presents complex forensic challenges, as examiners must carefully distinguish between pre-mortem physical trauma and post-mortem changes caused by marine exposure and decomposition. Furthermore, the independent pathologist stated that because certain anterior neck structures were retained during the initial state examination and were unavailable for the secondary review, certain potential causes or contributing factors involving the neck could not be fully evaluated. Consequently, the independent examination classified both the cause and manner of death as undetermined. The report noted limitations, including unavailable anatomical structures and the absence of complete pathology and toxicology information during the secondary review. The relationship between potential toxicological data and the physical timeline remains a critical area of review for investigators. Standard post-mortem toxicology panels analyze bodily fluids and tissue samples to detect the presence of alcohol, medications, or other substances. Toxicology results can help investigators understand a person's physiological condition before death. However, by themselves, they cannot determine exactly how a death occurred. Compounding the medical analysis is the timeline established by individuals who were present on Horn Island on July 4th. Public reports indicate that multiple vessels were anchored near the island during the afternoon, with numerous individuals present in the immediate area. Attorneys representing vessel owners have publicly stated that at least 2 witnesses reported seeing Nolan Wells alive on the island after the primary boats departed the area. If ultimately corroborated by investigators, a post-departure sighting establishes specific timeline parameters that investigators must evaluate. Investigators routinely cross-reference witness statements against independent data sources, including marine GPS logs, mobile device location records, and cellular tower handoffs. Determining who remained on the island, what vessels were nearby, and how location data aligns with witness accounts forms an essential part of establishing an accurate record. As technical and forensic reviews continue, the broader context surrounding the investigation continues to evolve. According to public statements, the total reward offered for information regarding the case has increased as additional contributions have been announced by family members and other supporters. In complex inquiries, publicly announced rewards often serve to encourage individuals who may hold unverified details or peripheral information to contact law enforcement directly. At the same time, legal representatives for the various parties involved continue to issue public statements clarifying their positions. Attorneys representing vessel owners have cautioned against public speculation, emphasizing that online commentary and unverified audio interpretations do not constitute legal proof. Meanwhile, legal counsel representing the Wells family continues to call for full transparency, requesting that independent medical experts be granted access to complete state autopsy files and supporting documentation. As investigators continue reviewing evidence, official proceedings rely strictly on verified facts, accredited expert analysis, and admissible documentation rather than public debate. The investigation into the death of Nolan Wells involves multiple complex layers, from disputed audio recordings to independent medical reviews. As the inquiry moves forward, establishing a definitive record will depend on the synthesis of verified location data, complete pathology reports, and formal witness statements. Ultimately, whatever conclusions investigators reach will depend on the totality of the evidence, including forensic findings, verified witness testimony, digital records, and other admissible evidence, not online speculation. As additional records, forensic findings, and official statements become available, we will continue separating verified evidence from speculation and reporting only what the public record supports. Thank you for watching. If you value evidence-based crime reporting, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future investigations. We'll continue following the public record